Korum Ko Kavod Yahweh Kadosh Israel, Selah. Today's topic of spiritual contemplations is how to let go of what holds you back. Something that has always been challenging for me, something that's always been mentally, my own mental block, has been letting go of the things that hold me back. Whether it was different conflicts I had with my Abba, different conflicts I had with myself, with my childhood, with the community, how I was raised, and the ins and outs of what went with that, with what went along with that. Thank you. And letting go of those things to progress as a person, to progress mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You know, a lot of times I felt like I was insufficient because I couldn't let these things go. You know, my email would always just say, let it go. Just stop thinking about it. I can't. It's in the back of my head. It is part of the things that shape the person that I am today. And letting go of those things are a lot harder than I thought. I spent a lot of time working and working out, and that's the energy, the fuel I use to create the lifestyle that I have now. And sometimes I wonder, what would I do if I let that go? What power would I siphon from, would I tap into if I let that go? And a lot of times I was scared to let that go because that's what I had driving me. It was that force that I had in me. And it was tough. But the process that it took for me to start letting things go that held me back is one, understanding that you are more than the things that happen to you. Like, you more than that. You're not just the things that happen to you. I think you are also what you make of them. And a lot of times we are formed by our experiences and things that hold us back. I was held back by my fear that I wasn't that good. I wasn't worthy of the things that I always strived for, and what held me back, especially in business, was not putting myself out there like that, because I was like, they're gonna realize that I'm just this dude from Dimona who don't know nothing, who taught himself everything. And people go to university for this, people go to school for 4 years, and I'm just fresh out of high school learning how to market, learning AI and Canva and CapCut, learning all of this stuff. And it was so tough because that fear of people gonna see through my facade, even though I put in the work. Like, don't get me wrong, I put in the work, but I still felt, like, I'm not specialized in it. I didn't do that, and there's people out here who are doing that, and I feel like a fraud. Until, like, one day somebody was like, yo, big man, you gotta start charging more. I'm like, me? They're like, yeah, you gotta start charging more. You undercutting yourself, the value that you provide to the market. You undercutting yourself. Like, you are. I was like, interesting. But him saying that was a confirmation to something I had already been feeling. And it was me realizing, like, nah, you are that. You are putting in that work. You are making things happen. And you can't take that for granted. You can't take that lightly. In my relationships, and specifically in this specific relationship, shout out to my girlfriend, the thing that held me back, because I feel like I have been working on it, the thing that held me back was trying to protect myself, but also be vulnerable. Like, protect myself from being hurt from when I'm vulnerable, but also be vulnerable because that's how you really experience love, And that duality has held me back from truly experiencing the relationship, truly experiencing love, and everything that go along with it, and realizing that I have somebody who isn't going to hurt me, who isn't out to hurt me and to take advantage of me, and letting go of that fear of the things that has happened to me in the past. It hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows. And, like, just the other day we was talking, and I was remembering some of the things that I experienced, let's call it that. And it wasn't a great taste in my mouth. I remember, like, this is these things are the reason I am the way I am now. And although that is a choice that I made, it still happened to me and it still made me feel not the best. And having gone through that and having experienced that and having changing my personality to avoid that ever happening to somebody like me again, and then realizing that isn't the right mental mode to have a loving, happy, long-lasting relationship. And getting past that, it's been very challenging, because it hurt so bad to have to go through that, and having all the other things I have to go through, already, whether it's situations with my parents, whether it's situation with my status and just life, and going through that, I'm like, yeah, dead this. Yeah. And you start talking to people and they start telling you things that I was 17, 18. People telling you stuff like, oh yeah, who doesn't get hurt? Bad boys. You know who don't get hurt? Heartless, ruthless, cold, and numb people. And you start to alter your personality to become like that. People would say, I'm sure they wouldn't say it now. No, oh yes, Leo's such a good guy, such a nice guy. I think I'm good. Nice, I don't think so. And I realize being nice gets you taken for a spin. But you can't just be a dick. You can't just be a bad person. And I was like, listen, if the bad guys are getting what they want and not getting hurt, yeah, sign me up. Yeah, put my name top of the list. And after experiencing that for the last 3-4 years, getting in a relationship has been a very eye-opening experience to the repercussions of those type of choices. And getting past the fear of this person is going to hurt me, this person is going to take me for a spin, abuse me and use me, and no, all the fears, that I had, that I experienced. Getting past that, just mentally, has been very challenging, but also very liberating, because you realize there's more out there than just the darkness. And once you realize there's more than just the darkness, you start searching for the light. And you find the light in the people you love, in yourself. I mean, it's been one of the best experiences of my life. Shout out to my girlfriend. And being with her showed me like what love really is. And it's not the sunshine and rainbows. I always tell her life isn't about Turks and Caicos. It's about the everyday stuff and creating your own experiences, creating your own traditions, and stuff like that. It changes you, makes you realize. I always thought the coolest thing ever was sleeping around. I was like, I get to just talk to whoever I want, date whoever I want, mess with whoever I want. I'm him. I am him. It wasn't like I wanted that and I was by myself in this endeavor. No, it was a mutually beneficial type of situation. But the more I did it, the more the thought weighed on me, there has to be more to life than this. Because people would talk about like love, love, love. I mean, this for sure ain't love. And I knew it wasn't. I wasn't delusional about that. I knew it wasn't. But I always wanted more, and I realized I was trying to fill this hole in my heart. My experiences growing up, the emotional stuff. Yeah, it wasn't a family trait. And I realized I had this void in me I was trying to fill with other people, and it was lust and not love. It was temporary enjoyment and not long-term satisfaction. And I came to realize that that doesn't do it for me, and people are like, this is so awesome. And for a minute it was, I'm not gonna lie and be like, the whole experience was horrible. No, for a minute it was every 18, 19-year-old's wet dream. But you realize there's more to life, and getting over that and realizing there's more. I'm capable of more. I deserve more. I don't have to limit my own capacity so I don't have to fail. And sometimes what I think I do, and maybe this might be relatable, is we don't try not because we can't succeed. We don't try because the fear of failure might confirm existing fears we already have about ourselves. And if that ever came true, what are you gonna do? Man, that's not always the funnest thing to hear. And it's easy to just close your eyes, put your head down, and move forward and act like that monster doesn't exist. But it does. And it's right there, and it's always going to be a part of who you are unless you confront it. And the way I got over that, I had to learn to love myself for who I am now. I can't change what Atelier was doing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I can't change that. Like, I can't change the things that were done to me. I can't change those things. All I can change is who I am now and who I'm going to be. And at some level or another, that has to be good enough, because what else are you going to do? I'm doing my best to overcome those thoughts. And part of it is, wow, I can't believe I'm about to say this. But talking about it. Having somebody special to open up to and to talk about those things. And I'm not judged, I'm not shamed, I probably should be. I think part of it is I feel like I should be. I feel like the girlfriend, the partner that I have is like, are you supposed to be with me? Like I'm a little messed up. I'm a little too chipped, too broken for somebody as good as you. And sometimes it hurts because I simultaneously feel like I deserve good things, but I also don't. And when I see this person giving me their everything, and I know that they deserve so much, and the more I go to work, the more I try, the more I do, it feels good. But it's those days where you're not 100%. It's those days where you don't feel like you are the person that this person needs. And those monsters start to creep up in your ear, telling you stuff like, yeah, you are just this guy that people said you are. You are everything you fear yourself to be. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not. At one level or another, I don't know. But I try. And having somebody to recognize those efforts, it reinforces you to let go of those monsters, to let go of those voices and say, you can't control me. You're not going to dictate how I live my life. And letting that go, and sometimes that voice sounds just like you. I remember a couple months ago, money was tight. Your boy I had like maybe like 4 shillings in my account. And I had rent due, bills due, like it was just something, man. I'm just sitting on the edge of my bed and I'm just like, I'm trying so hard and I'm not seeing no progress. I'm sitting there and I'm boo-hooing my fucking eyes out, man, crying. Cause I feel so bad that I'm not the person I thought I would be by now. And that concept sounds stupid to me now because I feel like I am. But in those moments, in down, those down times, and your own little monsters and demons start to come and talk to you, and they're holding up this reflection of like the worst parts of you. You're just like, that's not me, but you can't. It is you. Like 21, I thought I'd have more, thought I'd be more. And my sister came in my room and she saw me. She's like, Natalie, how you doing? She's like, I'm not blowing smoke. I promise you. I'm not the one to blow smoke. She's like, you're doing it, and we all have these moments. It's good to have people like me and you around, people like your girlfriend around, because going through that alone is tough. And nobody should do that. But it was getting over that feeling, I haven't had a moment like that in a minute. And hopefully not another minute. Getting over that fear of I'm not who I am, or I'm not who I thought I would be. And realizing you are who you choose to be. And it's a hard lesson for me to learn because I beat myself up so much. People always say, Wesley, you're so hard on yourself. That's how I feel like you are as good as you are useful. You are loved as much as you are useful. And getting over that was, I don't know if I'm over it completely. I was raised like that, and it wasn't in so many words, it was in so many actions. Been working since I was 10, 11. And people ask me, do I think that's true? And my response is, I don't want to find out. And having a girlfriend now, and I remember she told me something when we first met. I don't love you for what you do, what you provide, how useful you are. I just love you for who you are, just being Yatiliel. And she didn't understand my reaction to that. I'm not crying. It's just like I got really long hair. Shout out to my hair. But it's understanding that I am enough to worth being loved. And that was a experience. Because I had to let go of what was holding me in this specific mindset, this specific frame of thought of work equals love, usefulness equals love. And it was like, nah, like it's just you, like you being you to the truest form of who you can be is worth being loved, and I love you. Fucking cry, man. Okay, so these things happen in very different eras. It wasn't just like a series of crying. It's crazy. Yeah, I think I'm out for this whole year. Yeah, no tears will be shed in 2025. I promise. But I had to let those things go. They were holding me back from experiencing life the way I've always wanted to experience them. And it made me realize the only way to really feel love is to be vulnerable. And the only way to be vulnerable is to not have the same walls up so you feel protected. Because they're oxymorons. And I'm still letting that go. I'm still trying my best to make sure I don't put up the walls that stop me from getting love, because those same walls protect me from being hurt. But a wall is a wall, and it blocks, it protects, it shields, and it shields love also. And that's not what I want to do. And so I have to let go of those things and realize everything's a give and take. So you are letting go of one thing to get another. And if the thing that you're getting is of far greater value than the thing you're shielding yourself from, you have to let it go. And I do these videos to remind myself sometimes and to hear myself say it out loud that this is a reality, making it real. And I really hope that that anybody who watched this, anybody who sees this, comes across this, takes anything that, is relatable. Because very rarely are we experiencing things by ourselves. There's 9 billion people on the planet. There's somebody out there who can relate to what you're going through, and I can give you even a little piece of advice, just like I was given, and it's listening to people and being able to hear the wisdom, hear the knowledge. I don't know if it's wisdom or not, I'm just a boy in it. But hearing that and being able to take it, inwards and go, okay, I'm going to stop being so protective. I'm going to stop being so defensive, because you aren't out to hurt me. We're on the same team. And that's so tough to hear. That's so hard to hear and to believe when you spent your time making sure you don't get hurt. Make sure you don't, no one goes over the wall. And you realize no one's going over the wall. You have to be the person to tear it down. It's you. It's you versus you. I have to be the person to tear down those walls and go, come in, come here. And you do it because it's right. You do it because that's what's needed to progress as a person, emotionally, physically, spiritually, And it's been the best experience of my life, having to go through this with my girlfriend. I'm eternally grateful. I always tell her she doesn't really understand the effect she has on me. And in all the best ways, I'm so happy to have somebody who sees me for who I am. But I realized the only way to let that continue, and the only way that started to happen, is I had to let go of those things that were holding me back and be willing to hear wisdom, improve, change, and be better. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a like. If you want to see more and be notified when these videos drop every Tuesday, every Monday, and yeah, give me a subscribe. Turn on notifications, and make sure you have a y'all blessed day. Y'all Kai.